Alright. Alright. Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic, lesson known classic. This episode number 32, Doubleshot, 31, 26. Got Spawn and Savage Trade here. Not from the main Spawn series, it's actually one of its many spin-offs. This actually is from the first round of spin-offs from the late 90s, early 2000s. That being Hellspawn, a short-lived spin-off. Basically the premise of this book is basically all the dark stuff that Tom McFarlane could not explore in the main book. And so, get this. 16 issues, 2 writers. The first writer will surprise you, given the fact this guy basically, for the longest time, was a well-respected writer. Nowadays, basically, people don't talk about anymore. And that being Brian Michael Bendis. Yes. One of only 2 Spawn books he worked on. The other book being Sam and Twitch. He did the first 6 issues, though his last issue was co-written by Steve Niles. And of course you have 2 different artists in this book. You have Ashley Wood doing the first 10 issues, well, co-doing the issue with Ben Templesmith. And Ben Templesmith and Steve Niles basically are famous for being, get this, the creative team behind 30 Days a Night. Yep, Ashley Wood does the covers for the first 9 issues, issue 11. And all the rest is done by Ben Templesmith. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the darker aspects of, like, it's stuff that you probably couldn't see in the main book. But that's kind of the premise of this book. And it's more like a side book. It just has, the best way you could describe this book, it's basically if Tom McFarlane was basically not editorially driving the book. It's basically other writers think of doing the book, despite the fact this already was working for the main book. But this is him basically doing with another book per se. Yep. I'm gonna give the book roughly 9 out of 10. What book next? Well, you'll find out next time I talk about this. Next time I'll talk about Spawn. Next up we have is Savage Dragon Archives Volume 6. This is going to be the penultimate one I'll discuss this one, because after the next volume for this one, I am officially switching over to the ones in color. So, those of you wondering, who the heck is the guy in the suit on the cover? Well, that is Daredevil. And those are thinking, wait, Nick. Isn't Daredevil a Marvel character? Okay, so the explanation for this. There are 2 different Daredevils. There is Matt Murdock from Marvel Comics, which they own the character, by the way. This character is the Golden Age Daredevil, who had a one-shot published during the Golden Age. So, you're probably thinking, where did Eric Larson get this character? He got this plus a bunch of Golden Age characters, and he bought them at an auction. Yes, he bought them at an auction, and he put Daredevil in this book, though for some weird reason, Dynamite ended up publishing a brief ongoing series with him, where it's called The Deadly Daredevil, and it was written by Gail Simone. Yes, the purpose of him being here because of a character called Solar Man, and you're probably thinking, wait, Solar Man, isn't he a Gold-Key character? He is. Eric Larson's character has nothing to do with that character at all. It's just basically just a costume with the Superman's, except placing the S with a sun. I don't know what his color is. The costume is a bit similar to Superman, but not to the point where DC would sue him over the character. He doesn't really appear very much at all, so it doesn't really bother much DC for that. He's a very insane superhero. When he first shows up in here, apparently he wants to murder villains. And at one point he was briefly erased from history, and then he just came back. Yes. So, also, Super Patriot has been replaced by a different character named William, because apparently the original one probably retired at some point. Because also in this book, Angel was aged up a little bit in here. Yes, the local Angel, who was met years prior to, many issues prior to this one, where she's got a little bit older, and she's inherited her mom's powers. At one point, we do briefly see her mom pop up in this book, except that it was not Jennifer, it was actually just... I kid you not, it was just basically a female version of... If Savage was a woman, this fact already was a female character called She-Dragon. She-Dragon's in this book. When she first pop up in this book, at one point, first time she pops up in here, she cosplays as Red Sonja for some weird reason. I'm not sure why, wearing the bikini armor. And it turns out the one who actually is here for Angel is not the actual Angel. She is hanging out with Mr. Glum, the same guy who apparently briefly controlled the world for a year. So the one in the main universe, apparently the main Earth where Savage had come from has been destroyed, and he's on a different Earth now. And also, get this, it's a brand new, kind of similar view to continuity, where Spawn is still here. Yep, Spawn is here. The Witchblade is here. I kid you not, Invincible is in this book. Yes, Invincible. Robert Kirkman's Invincible is in here. Yeah, all new, brand new universe. Did you know also Savage Dragon, Witchblade, and Spawn make cameos in Invincible? Yes. Now, those of you thinking, like, why is Invincible in this book? Well, because Image wanted to reboot the universe, but wanted to keep Savage Dragon and Witchblade there. This was several years prior. This was like a decade prior to Witchblade ending. Of all four of these characters, only Dragon and Spawn are still publishing. Yes. Oh, in case you're wondering which Spawn is here in this book, it's Al Simmons. Not Jim Downing, Al Simmons. From what I can tell anyways. Lots of good fighting here, per se. Oh, what issues book collect? 126 to 150. Eric Larson does the writing, coloring, and inking to this book. He does everything. Yeah. No Mighty Man here, surprisingly. Yeah, Mighty Man is barely in this book. He got replaced by Solar Man. Yeah. Well, overall, fantastic book. Yep. And still a lot to go. I'd say I probably got less than 200 issues left to go to review for this book, and that's it. So we're going to be with Savage Dragon for a while. Yep. So yeah, this particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. Next up, we have one more comic corner for evening. And it's one is BPRD, the other is another book in the Hellboy universe. Which one? You'll find out and see. Okay, next view. Bye.